This is a Texas sports haven, the Cowboys home at AT&T Stadium. Right next door, the beautiful and new Globe Life Field, home to the Rangers. Just a short distance away from that complex on the campus of the University of Texas Arlington College Park Center, where we feature the Mystics and the Dallas Wings. We feature two of the highest scoring WNBA teams and a couple of players that can put it in the hoop. Tina Charles, a leading scorer in the league right now. Arike Ogunbowale, how about 52 straight games in double-figure scoring? The WNBA standings look like this. Seattle, Vegas, the teams to chase, and the Mystics and the Dallas Wings are two of the 8 teams that have 7 or 8 losses here this year. Welcome to the WNBA on CBS. Happy to be alongside the Naismith Hall of Famer and WNBA great, Lisa Leslie. I'm Lisa Byington. Lisa, scoring, this is the game for you.
This is definitely the game. And you talked about Tina Charles with 25.3 points per game. She's doing a great job of leading her team. But what Tina's improved on most is that outside shot, the consistency to shoot the 3 ball. But we know her work is done on the inside. She has some of the best footwork in the whole league. Her ability to attack the basket and also her leadership skills is what it's going to take for Washington to get back to the championship. But then there's Arike Ogunbowale. This young player is ready for the big lights. There's a game winner you'll see, and she's the player. They'll put the ball in her hands. She can create for others. She has improved so much. And it's not just her ability to score, Lisa. It's her ability to get to the basket and make her teammates better.
Both teams are playing better in June than they are in May. Ariel Atkins in the starting lineup for the Washington Mystics. She was listed as questionable coming into today with a lingering back issue. This is an important game for her. It is a return from home. She's played high school basketball about 15 miles away. And you see the Dallas lineup. They are 2-1 with those starters in the lineup, including coming off the last game against Indiana in Indianapolis and winning that one to improve just a game below 500 here for the season. And the tip is underway. It's the #1 overall draft pick, Charlie Collier, winning the tip but going to Washington.
Well, Lisa, I've been excited about all these big girls out here on the floor in this matchup with Tina Charles, the veteran, the leading scorer there, going against the rookie.
And you think she's going to try to send a message early?
Well, I asked Tina if she was going to try and send a message, but she's so gracious, and she said, Lisa, I'm just going to go out there and respectfully do what I do. But if it had been me, I was like, oh, it's on. I'm going out here to let these youngins know this is what it means to be an MVP of the WNBA.
And she wanted us, when we had our Zoom call with her yesterday, she wanted us to emphasize that she was saying that nicely, in a nice manner. But to your point, Lisa, you said, hey, you're going against a rookie, Collier. You're going against a second-year player, perhaps in Satu Sabali, if she gets switched up. There might be a message from the WNBA vet to send here today.
Yeah, but she wasn't willing to say those words.
But we can.
Absolutely.
Short there for Jefferson, who chases down her own rebound and a second opportunity here for Dallas. There's a lot of rookies, a lot of second-year players on this Wings team. And actually, there is one of their vets, if you can call Kayla Thornton that, in year number 6.
Well, Kayla Thornton, a big body. She's strong. She's aggressive defensively, but I love the fact that she came out and attacking the basket.
Kick out to Mitchell, who's been red hot from 3 the last couple of games. 5 or more three-point makes that she has hit for the first time in her career. The fadeaway won't fall for Ogunbowale.
Well, keep your eye on Ogunbowale, number 24, because she will attack the basket. And I asked her about her favorite players, because she reminds me, her engine is like Teresa Weatherspoon's, always going hard. She shoots like Mawadi Mabika from outside of the 3, but then she'll drive and finish like Cynthia Cooper. So keep an eye on her, folks, number 24.
Washington's got to keep an eye on Thornton, and immediately when she hit that bucket, Ariel Atkins hit her chest. She said, that's my bad.
Yeah, Thornton's really improved her three-point shot from the outside, shooting 44% from 3.
Well, 10 of 23 coming into today, and here for Dallas's defense as 2 for 2 here for Tina Charles.
Well, one thing about this game is going to be a fast-paced, high-scoring game. These teams love to get up and down, and they shoot the ball very well, as there you can see Arike Ogunbowale knocking down her first 3-pointer.
It's going to be tough to get out sentences before buckets are made, I think, here today. 2 of the top 5 scoring teams in the league, and they like to put up the 3. They'll give a post touch to Tina Charles. That's her first miss of the afternoon, and here's Dallas on the push. Atkins getting the defensive assignment on Agumbawale, and kick ball call. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Mike Thibault talking to us, he said, I'm tired during this road trip, so if I'm tired, I know my team is tired. This is the third road game in 5 days. They picked up a very impressive win at Seattle, fell short to Los Angeles, and here on the road for Dallas before they head home to Washington later tonight. And there's the first bucket for Sabali.
Sabali, nice player. She may be in her first year, but she is a nice addition to the Wings team. Her ability to get to the basket and score, and also stretching, that stretch forward, able to knock down that three-point shot.
Part of a 10-2 Dallas run. Tina Charles whistled for the foul. That means Agumbawale will go to the free throw line. Vicki Johnson, the Wings head coach, played in the first WNBA game ever for the Liberty. I think I might be sitting next to someone who also played in that game for the Sparks.
Yes, but Vicki Johnson, an outstanding player. She was a tenacious defender, knocked down threes, a great team player for the New York Liberty, and she is bringing that same type of tenacity to her coaching here for the Dallas Wings. She has a young players, but she said they need to be reminded to trust one another, and so that comes to their defensive end more than anything else. When you have young players, a lot of times they rely on me versus the we, and she's here to change that mentality and culture here in Dallas.
Weiss sizing up another three, not that time here from the corner. And look at how fast, and the transition defense here for Washington getting back. But Dallas, Washington, as we mentioned, they want to push. Washington averages about 83 points per game. Dallas just a little bit more at 84.5 so far this season. And 5 to shoot for Agumbawale. Step back three, that one rimming out, but just barely missing. And she doesn't need a whole lot of time and space to get her shot off.
Well, I think the tough part for Agumbawale is just deciding when she wants to go one-on-one versus, making the ball, allowing the ball to move and find the open player. And that's one of the things that Coach Johnson talked about with the Wings. They're young, and so sometimes everyone wants to create for themselves as opposed to creating for someone else. Collier's been open, calling for the ball so many times on the inside, and she finally gets it. And as a rookie, she's going to have to learn to finish that inside.
Agumbawale with the pick and the take for two. I don't think anyone on the Mystics saw her coming.
Well, I think she also wanted an N1 because that was a nice steal and aggressive play getting to the basket.
Really impressive start here for the home team. Crowd loves it. Mike Thibault does not. He's forced to call an early timeout with 5:46 left in the first quarter.
Well, when you look at Enrique, she's missed a few shots from the outside, but here she just attacks the basket, takes it right there to Plazon. She said, hey, where's the N1, ref?
14-5 is the score. Lisa Leslie, Lisa Byington with you all season long. We're honoring the 25th anniversary of the WNBA. We mentioned we've got 2 representatives from that very first game that was played.
Well, of course, there was me. Off the glass, did I call that? And then there was Vicki Johnson, who, again, a tenacious defensive player, shoot the 3 ball, get to the basket, and an outstanding teammate to the great Teresa Weatherspoon, who was out there. And so it was a great battle, and we're so honored to have been a part of day 1 of this WNBA season.
Day 1, game 1. I love talking to Vicki Johnson on our Zoom call yesterday where she talked about being old school. This is old school. She's going to like this. Old school defense. Enrique with the pick. In for 2.
And the thing about Enrique is just her ability to turn the defense into offense really helps when it comes to possessions. She does such an outstanding job. And again, only in her second year, and she's only going to continue to get better.
Fadeaway, that's off of 1 foot for Tina Charles. She's got all the shots in her arsenal.
Tina's just like, give me the ball, and especially until she sees a double team or even a triple team, she's really unstoppable down there.
Well, all the offense has run through Tina Charles. All 7 points here for Washington so far, breaking a 9-0 or an 11-0 Dallas run, I should say, after that Enrique bucket. We'll stay here, and they'll take it out from underneath.
When you look at Charlie Collier, again, in her rookie season, the thing she's going to have to learn is the change of speed. She's kind of doing everything at the same pace as opposed to catching, sort of evaluating where is the defense, and then making her move. But she'll get there.
Ty Harris trying to make the save and stepped on the end line there. You know, Charlie Collier, Vicki Johnson had said, I'm really proud of the way she's been able to handle things, especially the last 2.5 weeks. When you look at, she's defending Tina Charles here today, but Sylvia Fowles, Brittany Griner, Jonquel Jones also were on the list in the last 2.5 weeks.
Absolutely, and when you face the best post players in the world, you're only going to get better as long as she continues to watch video and learn, and also study the game, study what they're doing to see how you get better. And she will definitely be one of those players who will get there as well.
Sabali getting her own miss. Quick hands that time from Atkins. The rest of the Mystics 0 for 6. You don't factor in the Tina Charles factor. Somebody else with 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter has got to find some offense here for Washington. But Charles getting the bump there on Charlie Collier.
Yes, and Tina Charles doing a nice job with the face-up.
Well, it's time to get out of quarantine to get back in the dating game. Climb on board for a new season of Love Island in Hawaii. Islanders will do whatever it takes to hold on to their dream date. The new season of Love Island starts Wednesday, July 7th on CBS, so you can stream anywhere for free anytime. Marina Mabry has checked in here for the first time here for Dallas. You and I were talking about, we talk about quarantine. It's nice to be here on the court and safe with all the health and safety factors that have gone into this, but slowly but surely we're getting back to normal in the basketball world.
Well, here we are, up close and personal on the floor, getting a chance to see a WNBA game. So I'm like one of the fans too. I'm excited to be back in the arena as well.
Here's Agumbawale, already 6 points, and she gives it up this time to Gray, who had some time, and she fills it up from the corner.
There's Gray, our new 3-on-3 Olympian for the first time. The 3-on-3 will be in the Olympics, and Alicia Gray named to that team. I had a chance to talk to her a little earlier, and she just talked about how physical it was more than anything else, but how that physicality has her prepared for the WNBA.
And there's the first points going to Megan Gustafson that's not named Tina Charles. Gustafson just recently picked up June 21st, added on a medical hardship, and shaking her head. Enrique's having fun early. The Enrique head shrug might be like the Jordan shoulder shrug if this keeps up.
Well, you know, she is so excited about this game, loving the play. They're trying to bring the double team now to Tina Charles, because Tina Charles has, quite frankly, been wearing them out down low. So Enrique came in for the double team. A missed pass there by Gray, but nice job for Dallas, just still trying to get into transition.
Couple of turnovers now for the Wings. And Reese losing the handle there. 2.5 here to play for the quarter. And here's another turnover. Washington has turned it over 3 times. Enrique pulls and fires. Here's Charles, who will turn and face this time. Mallory defending her. She's coming off the bench here for the Wings. You've got a lot of Olympians actually playing on the court here today, but you mentioned the 3-on-3 team that Alicia Gray is a part of. You see Steph Dolson, you see Kelsey Plum, you don't see Katie Lou Samuelson in that picture there. But as you mentioned, it's going to be a new thing here this year for the Olympics.
Well, it's definitely new, and I gotta, give a shout out to the Big Three, because we have been playing, and I coach in the Big Three for watching the men play 3-on-3, and so for it to become an Olympic sport, it's kind of one of those things. I think Ice Cube kind of led the way with that, and you can see that it can be very lucrative, and it's so great that these women are going to have an opportunity to be Olympians as well.
I'm excited to watch it. Will we have some 3-on-3 Olympians in this game? We also have some 5-on-5 Olympians in this game as well. We'll get into that story as this game goes on. Turn around for Harrison. That one popping up. Here is Gray, who will settle for the 2 instead of the 3. Tight rims.
Tight rims
for the
new
home court
ball.
team.
They may need to change this ball out. It's just going down and popping out every single time.
College Park Center is supposed to be friendly here to Dallas as Tina Charles, and that's one area where she's really worked in the offseason to improve, is her distance shot.
Absolutely, and Tina Charles just talked about coming to Washington. Obviously, she used to play in New York, and knowing that how well Elena Deladon, who's obviously not here because of her injury, just her ability to shoot the ball. And Tina said she didn't want to let her team down. She wanted to come in and join the MVP, but also know that she's also an MVP and plays at that level of caliber. So she's doing a great job every single possession, and improving her three-point shot is really helping the Washington Mystics, and that's why they're one of the best scoring teams in the league.
That Tina Charles is actually the first three-point make here for Washington. They attempt a league-high 29 threes per game, and they're tied with New York in terms of making 10 of them per game. They got to take care of the basketball better. Dallas is putting some pressure on them early. Here's Mabry from the corner, short. And Mabry, with the quarter clock winding down, nearly got that one to drop.
That was a high-octane
wasn't it?
quarter. My gosh.
Don't know if Muffet McGraw taught her that at Notre Dame, but it took a while there to get to the rim. 22-14, Dallas with the first quarter advantage. A special homecoming for Washington's Ariel Atkins, who moments ago we had a time to catch up with. Ariel Atkins, you played high school basketball about 15 miles away. What does it mean to play in front of your family and friends here today?
It definitely means a lot, especially when we being all the way out in D.C. I'm glad that they can come and watch me play professionally.
Ariel, congratulations first off being named to the USA team. Welcome to the Olympic family, and just how has it been since you got the news?
Thank you. It's been great. I still feel like it hasn't set in yet because we're trying to finish the job here first. But I'm super thankful and super blessed to have the opportunity to play with some amazing women and represent our country together.
Ariel, thank you.
Thank you.
Those photos that we showed you were of Duncanville High School. She had won a couple of state titles, as I mentioned, about 15 miles away down I-20. Sabali with an impressive block there in the corner.
Sabali said, not today.
Yeah, right. Sizing it up the other way. Well, Ariel Atkins had a time to visit her high school back in 2019, really kind of a week after Washington had won the WNBA title. She remembered, folks like Tamika Catchings come back, returning, talking to high school students, and she remembered how much former players coming back meant to her, and she wanted to be now one of those former players to do the same.
Absolutely, and it is so important. For me, it was Byron Scott who came back to Morningside High School in Inglewood, California, and took our boys and girls team to the Los Angeles Forum, where I was able to see the Los Angeles Lakers for the first time in person. And so when you have that opportunity to go back and give back, whether it's your high school or your college, it's a great opportunity to be a role model for young people and inspire them.
Shavonte Zealous with a bucket. She is someone that is capable, certainly, of putting up some points coming off the bench here for Washington. Harrison will spin move. Gustafson rips it down for the rebound.
And although Harrison missed that shot, I like the fact that she's been attacking the basket, being very aggressive, trying to get points in the paint.
Plaisance with the fadeaway. And Teresa Plaisance has been someone that scored in double figures the last 6 games. That's the longest in her career. Defending Sabali, she went all up in the air. And Sabali tried to finish with her offhand. Here's Gray for 3. She's got a couple.
And Alicia Gray knocking down the 3 again. Prepared to play 3-on-3. She knows three-pointers are going to be so important for her to knock down.
She might have heard you talking about her 19% shooting from 3 this year.
Well, when I saw 19%, I got worried. But then once we pulled up the stats and we looked, she can shoot the 3 ball. Maybe she just hadn't shot it that well this season. But they are definitely going to need more of that in order for them to win a gold medal this year.
Well, Harrison checks out. Arike Ogunbowale checks back in. And it took all of 6 minutes and 51 seconds for Enrique to extend her double-figure scoring streak to 53 games. She's got 12 points here already and looking to add to it. And Harris nearly throwing it away. Ogunbowale with the save, but only 6 seconds here on the shot clock. She takes it inside with a finger roll. Beautiful reverse finish.
Beautiful finish, and that started with the team doing just, you know, spacing out the floor. Nice drive and kick, which opens it up for Enrique Ogunbowale, who can create and get to the basket.
She likes playing against Washington. Last year, she put up 39 points against the Mystics. She's on pace for another big day. And a blocking foul that time on Plaisance.
But here, when you look at Enrique getting to the basket, oh, in the up and under, ew. It was even nastier than I thought, Lisa, the first time.
She talked about her rookie season with us yesterday and how she had to face so many different defenses. And facing those kind of defenses in the pros, as you know, Lisa, is way different than facing those defenses at the college level. And another three-point make, this time by Ty Harris. Dallas is 6 for 11 from three-point territory and 6 of 19 from two-point territory. And we got a foul committed that time on Gray. That'll be number 1 on Alicia Gray. Kiara Leslie has checked in for the first time for the Washington Mystics. You see her there, number 1. She had missed the last 4 games with concussion protocol. And in fact, that's one of the biggest stories here for the Washington Mystics, is the injuries and the lack of personnel that they've had to deal with this year.
Yes. When you look at Washington, they have a plethora of players that are out, obviously starting with Elena Deladon, who the reigning MVP from 2019 when they won the championship, and she has not played this season. So when you think about where they are in the standings, and they're very hopeful because when the Olympic break comes, they'll have about 4 or 5 weeks. There's a possibility they can get Deladon back into that rotation. And that is something that Coach Tebow talked about. Don't count them out just yet.
You see, you missed a total of 26 games. When you add a Leslie to that total, it approaches around 30 missed games, not including, obviously, here today. And Mitchell, the two-pointer. We talked to Mike Tebow about Elena Deladon, and he said in terms of her return, and you mentioned it, Lisa, maybe coming off of that Olympic break, but he said your guess is as good as mine. She has done some one-on-one work, but she hasn't done any 5-on-5. Harris finding Collier, a good two-player game right there.
Great two-player game. I love the pick and roll with the drag. You get a chance to hit the big over the top, and Collier finishing strong on the inside.
Well, the Wings are just coming out hot. Biggest lead is 16. Right now it sits at 14, and Collier makes it one and done on that possession. Ogunbowale with that change of pace. Harris to Collier. Here's Plaisance posting up the undersized Alicia Gray that time.
And that was just a nice play. They saw the mismatch and got the ball to Plaisance on the inside. She must have been saying mouse in the house because she was able to finish on the inside. Speaking of finishing on the inside, but the big girl, the rookie Collier, nice pick and roll, finishing strong at the basket for Dallas. Defense skills, getting to the basket, that's one of the things Enrique has improved in her game. But her offensive ability to score inside, she talked about Simona Gus as being one of her favorite players in the WNBA. It's the crossover for her that she loves so much, but also Russell Westbrook. And you can see that, how she plays. No matter what, she's going to make the next shot, and she's always looking to make her teammates better.
Those 3 steals you mentioned, that's already matched a season high. If you're wondering, her career high is just one better at 4. And this time she's feeding Sabally, so she was looking for her teammate on that possession.
Yes, and that's nice. Sabally doing a nice job of facing up. I know she missed a few, but she has to just stay with her shot.
The second assist for Agumbawale here today. Gustafson trying to go to work on the left side. And we got a foul, and we'll head the other way. Sabally a little bit slow to get up. Satu Sabally was one of the later members on this team to join this Dallas squad, and certainly one of the reasons why they have a better June record than May record. But let's take a look.
She did a nice job defensively, but her leg just got caught up underneath her. Ariel Atkins fouled her up top. Not intentional, of course, but looks like she's going to be okay. A little ginger.
It's the first on Atkins. As we're past the midway point here in the second quarter, and Gray's got a good flow to her today.
Gray's looking good. She's like, I made the 3-on-3 Olympic team, y'all. Let me just tell you, let my game speak for itself today.
Gustafson is off the mark at three-point territory, and a big collision there. Jefferson collided and is up hobbling. And Vicki Johnson calling the timeout there. It'll be a quick 20-second timeout here for Jefferson, who's had to deal with a lot of injuries her career.
And one of the things you have to be happy about when your teammates crash, when your team crashes into each other, it's because they're pursuing the rebound. And one of the things Coach Vicki Johnson talked about was wanting her players to make sure they were crashing the boards.
Let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule, and I'm looking forward to this one on ESPN. That's tomorrow. The Seattle Storm, two of the best in the league, certainly record-wise here so far. It's the Storm and the Aces. You've got the Sun and the Mystics again on ESPN2 on Tuesday, and then a doubleheader on CBS Sports Network on Wednesday.
Well, you know, the battle of the bigs for me, Breanna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Liz Cambage. Ooh, get your popcorn ready. That's going to be a great game as well.
Those are the teams with the two best records. You would, in your opinion, are they the two best teams here so far?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Seattle is proving when you have Sue Bird and Breanna Stewart and the championships that they've won and their understanding of this game, the chemistry that they have, that is undeniable. And then Vegas is right there. You know, they've been chipping away, continuously getting better, playing team basketball. And I think if anybody can do it this year, you know, Vegas, they can definitely give Seattle a run for their money.
They've been knocking on the door, certainly. That's Mitchell's first three-point make, and just the second here for Washington in this game, only shooting 18% from back there. 2 of 11 right now for the Mystics. Harrison can't get it. And Charles, who also has one of those two, that one popping out. A little bit more time to breathe on these last couple of possessions. It has been back and forth for most of this first half. Agumbawale turning the corner and again taking the contact.
I love it because Agumbawale does a nice job. She's allowing her teammates, they're moving the ball around. They didn't attack the basket. Still, with the 5 out, she's able to come off that screen and attack hard to the basket and finish strong. 16
points for Agumbawale just in the first half. I mentioned that she put up the 39 last year against Washington, and that included a game-tying 3 just at the end of regulation with about 7/10 of a second left. Here's Thornton, who's had herself a really good first half, and she feeds Sabally for the bucket.
They worked on that in the warm-up, driving to the basket, dropping it off to the post. That time, very effective. Sabally doing a nice job of moving well without the ball.
Celebrating the 25th anniversary of the WNBA this season, featuring the Mystics and the Wings here on CBS. Lisa Leslie, Lisa Byington with you, and here are your MVP candidates to date.
These are my MVP candidates because Breanna Stewart leading Seattle, obviously scoring, rebounding, but also they're #1 in the WNBA. Tina Charles doing work, as you can see, leading the league in scoring. Asia Wilson right there with Vegas. I just think that these players have done a great job, and it just happens to be that they're all bigs. But the bigs are running the WNBA in the 25th season, and I'm so excited about that.
You do actually, and I want to say that there's a name on there, Benijah Laney out of New York, who is not a big, who you put as your honorable mention on the list.
I put her on there because she's been balling, and when you see a player who consistently year after year gets better, improves in their scoring, and now leading, she goes from, you know, like averaging 5 to 6 points to 20 points, like that means she's putting in the work and she needs to be recognized. Obviously, New York doesn't have the schedule, you know, their record does not allow her to win MVP, but she's definitely an honorable mention because I see you out there, Laney. I see you putting in work.
Most improved player last year. Wouldn't that be something if she could go from MIP to MVP?
Hey, it can happen. I hope she wrote it down on her goal list because anything can happen. I believe it. That's the beauty of the game.
She's up against some really tough candidates. Here's Sabali out of the jump ball. They're going to let him play a little bit here today.
Sabali like, and one. Can I get a foul, ref? Nice drive on Gustafsson all the way to the basket. Sabali just continually improving, and she's impressing me for sure.
Charles turning and facing, can't finish that time. Sabali, this is where she can be dangerous. So versatile, gets the rebound, leads the break herself. Ogunbowale with those 16 points, looking for more. And tipped it away that time by Leslie.
The biggest thing I noticed with the Dallas Wings is that they play really fast, and sometimes that can be tough because they're going so fast that each player is not really sure where the other one's going to be, and that's going to take time for them to get more comfortable with one another. When you talk about getting comfortable, Ariel Atkins very comfortable with her jumper.
Those were her first points of the afternoon. Now remember, she's not playing 100%, listed as questionable. Mike Thibault telling us she's been dealing with a lingering back injury, and a couple hours after their last game against LA, he said she was really hurting. Had x-rays done yesterday, and she's going to have to play above it here today. Here's Harrison with the bucket.
I really love the way Dallas Wings attack their guards, attack the basket. Nice wraparound pass again to another post player. That move really putting a lot of pressure on this Washington defense.
Here's Atkins with 4 to shoot before the half. She got a decent look at it. Ogunbowale with the kind of first half she's been having, you think that that might go in.
Anything was possible. She's been having a great first half, finishing with 16 points.
Well, coming up at the half, we'll learn more about Olympian Tina Charles. We'll elaborate on the 2021 WNBA All-Star Game next month, which will include Lisa Leslie's 96 U.S. Women's Gold Medal winning team. And, of course, we've got highlights and stats. Well, Dallas head coach Vicki Johnson joining us, and coach, with a 16-point advantage. You told us yesterday defense was going to be key. How do you describe your defense here in this first half?
Very active. We wanted to dictate everything. We wanted to make it happen. We didn't want to wait on anyone to do it for us. We wanted to throw the first punch, and we did that.
Well, Vicki, you talked about your team also rebounding. You guys 25 to 14 on the boards. Just how important has it been a team effort for you?
It's huge because our guards are getting in there and rebounding the basketball as well. They shoot a lot of threes, so there's a lot of long rebounds, and so we stress the guards rebounding at the elbow and getting out and running. We want to attack them in transition as well.
Coach Johnson, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
A 16-point advantage here for Dallas. Largest lead had been 17 in the first half. Plenty to talk about here at halftime. A very, very dominating first 20 minutes by the Wings. Two of the highest scoring teams in the WNBA. Really, it's only been one, though, that has lived up to that billing. Dallas putting up 46 points in the first half, and defensively has held this Washington Mystics team to just 30 points in the first half and 3 of 14 shooting from 3.
It's been great, and I thought Dallas did a nice job with the 15 points off the bench, from the bench players. also out rebounding, 25 to 14 or 24 to 14. But I think overall, I think Vicki Johnson has to be so happy with how her team is playing. And when you look at Arike Ogunbowale and how she's been leading, also passing the ball, getting her teammates involved. And that's what Vicki Johnson talked about, her being such not just a prolific scorer, but how do you make your teammates around you better? And Arike's done that this afternoon.
Well, she's got the 16 points, the 3 steals. I said she almost was going to score a point a minute. 16 points coming in 15 minutes and 57 seconds. Tina Charles really effective in the first quarter. She scored 10 points, but her last bucket coming at 1:05 in the first quarter.
Tina has missed quite a few chippies that I'm sure she'd like to get back, and she'll probably be able to score in this second half. Pressing just a little bit, but I expect for this MVP candidate to step up her game in the second half.
It's actually Shavonte Zellis who gets the start here for Washington and creating the turnover. So maybe Mike Tebow and his staff saw something effectively there at halftime.
Well, Zellis, a player who is known for her defense, and it's going to take defense for Washington to get back into it. And rebounding is going to be key. They have to make sure that Dallas is one and done.
Zellis starting in the place of Sydney Weiss this time. Weiss in the first half just 0 for 4 from 3, 1 of 5 shooting in 16 minutes of play. And they go Tina Charles's way. She just loves that kind of that 1-foot fadeaway shot.
The problem with Tina Charles's shots this afternoon is that they've been very flat. She needs to get a little bit more height on her shots. When you shoot straight at the basket, it has no chance. But when you shoot like Arike Ogunbowale, you have all the chance in the world. She is on fire this afternoon.
I was wondering if you like that kind of height.
Yeah, it's important because when you shoot at the basket, you have no chance. Maybe it's a direct shot, but she has not enough height on it.
Well, Plaisance drilling the 3, so maybe that's a great sign here for Washington. A quick 5 points. My dad was my high school basketball coach, and he always told me, I hear his voice now. Shoot with more arc, Lisa. Shoot with more arc. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly, because it's important to give the ball a chance to go in. Ooh, that was a nice, beastly rebound right there. Kayla Thornton doing work on the boards.
The first thing you said when you're watching Kayla Thornton warm up was just how strong she looked.
Yeah, I think sometimes, me being 6'5", I'm used to being around bigger players, but when she came in, I'm like, whoa. Nice finish on the inside, but when I saw her shoulders, and she's a nice size girl, I'm like, oh, she can put in work. She's playing that 3 spot, shooting from the outside, but able to post up as a big guard.
And she's been very valuable here to Dallas. Like I said, one of the vets, she takes the corner 3. In her 6th year of her career, this Dallas team, 3 rookies, a couple of second-year players, a couple of third-year players. Kayla Thornton, I guess, as a player on this roster, is the vet.
Definitely, she's the vet. And speaking of vet, Ariel Atkins knocking down another 3-point shot.
Just her 2nd bucket, though 2 of 5 shooting. We mentioned that she's not playing 100%, but as we had documented, it's her return home, so very important for her to try to play in front of some family and friends here today. And really, it's the first time that you asked her the question about being an Olympian. It's the first time that she has come back since that Olympic announcement that she's been able to play in front of some family and friends. And of course, the U.S. national team selection just coming out just recently, and not without controversy, though, although we're watching a couple of 5-on-5 USA Olympians, Tina Charles and Ariel Atkins.
Absolutely. Tina Charles, Sylvia Fowles, Brittany Griner, Brianna Stewart. I mean, those are names that you're expecting to see there. Asia Wilson, Super. We can go through this whole list, but the name that I'm actually disappointed that's not there is Nneka Ogwumike. And Nneka has played for Team USA for many years, and she's shown up, left her team to go and play. And it's just unfortunate that she's not on that list. I'm not sure why, but I just have to say it, LA Sparks alum that I am, and to see that she's not there. We went through this also when Candace Parker was not there, so not sure why she's left off the list, but she is another great player. The Team USA still very strong, still the best in the world, and hoping to get that 7th gold medal, coached by the great Dawn Staley.
Well said. Ariel Atkins Mike Tebow said she became an Olympian because of her hard work and always putting in the reps. And she's putting in the reps right now, but that time it's short.
That would have been right on cue, Ariel. We needed that ball to go right in at that moment. But this will be Ariel Atkins' first time representing Team USA.
Atkins trying to poke that away and defending Thornton. Thornton's got the strength on her, and she kicks it out to Harris. Too strong on that three-point attempt. I mentioned that Washington will make about 10 threes per game. Dallas will make about 8 of them. And Mitchell had to hoist that one up. Here's Charles, almost like a free throw.
Nice. Ariel Atkins, the one to make that happen, though. She's just really turning up the game right now, getting on the boards, getting Washington the extra shots that they need to try to turn this game around.
In celebration of LGBTQ plus pride presented by Deloitte, the WNBA will collaborate with GLSEN and Fanatics on an exclusive line of pride apparel, including Fanatics branded WNBA t-shirts. All proceeds will benefit GLSEN. Fans can purchase the shirts at WNBAstore.nba.com, and you're looking at 9 different flags that represent several different things: non-binary, transgender, pansexual, straight allies, and the Dallas franchise believes that they may be the first pro franchise or college pride game that is actually displaying all 9 of those flags here today in their arena. Off the glass here from Arena Mabry.
And for me, Lisa, you know, it's just about love. We just got to spread the love. Love people. We're all human beings, and we all deserve that type of respect and love, regardless of who you love.
This is the pride game here for the Dallas Wings, which is the reason why they're displaying those flags. And this is a really good start to the third quarter here for the Washington Mystics.
Well, you can tell Mike Tebow's made some adjustments. His team has come out, and this right now, this is a point where I would even tell my team when I'm coaching, this has nothing to do with X's and O's. This is about heart and effort. And right now, Washington's showing that heart and that effort that they don't want to come out here and just lose this game. They have to fight back.
Foul committed by Plaisance.
This is a nice drive by Enrique, just going in there. Plaisance really feeling like she took the offensive foul, but guess what? Her heels right there on the line. So it's considered a blocking foul.
To give you perspective, Washington by the quarter, 14 points in the first. And another foul there on Plaisance as she's challenged Sabally.
And Setu Sabally doing a nice job. I mean, when you talk about attack the basket, this is what you want to see from your big girl, getting all the way to the rim. Plaisance with her second foul.
Washington is outscoring Dallas here to start this third quarter, 15-7, and has suddenly made this interesting again. Hey, in 2 weeks, new rosters, new rules, including the brand new Bringing the Fire rule that will bring the crowd to their feet. Legends and former champions take the court for a new season of Big Three basketball, Saturday, July 10th, right here on CBS. I'm sitting right next to one of the coaches in the league, a defending champs.
Yes, not just any coach, the coach of the year. I mean, can you pump me up, Lisa? Like, you got to explain it right. The Big Three is coming back July 10th. Shout out to Ice Cube, to Amy Trask, to Jeff Quadman, all involved with the Big Three. But the fireball, you guys, this is going to be amazing. So guess what? Just imagine you're in the middle of the Big Three, right? And then you get fouled. You can challenge the person one-on-one for the point. Now, come on, who does that? I mean, Ice Cube is a visionary, and when you talk about the Big Three and the excitement of these guys playing, we're very happy that it's also an Olympic sport. But when you talk about the Big Three in Vegas, you guys don't want to miss it on CBS every Saturday. You guys got to check us out. And Joe Johnson, the reigning MVP, will also return on my team, Team Triplets, so we can defend our championship.
I've got a thought.
Huh.
What about having the coaches go one-on-one if you're going to challenge a call?
What the legends don't want to see is, but I can get you a jumper. What you want, a three? A jumper, a free throw? No,
yeah.
Our amazing players are phenomenal. We have so many great players that will make this league so exciting. Obviously, we have Nancy Lieberman, who also the other woman who won the championship, who I love. So it's going to be great competition against Team Power, who won the championship prior to me coming in. And we just have so many legends. Obviously, I love when I get a chance to walk around and see Dr. J, and you have Iceman there, Michael Cooper, you know, so a phenomenal league and so much excitement.
And suddenly it's a 5-point game. Leilani Mitchell with another 3-point shot. She's 4 of 8 from back there today.
And Leilani Mitchell, no stranger to being in big moments, who will play on the Australian Olympic team this year as well.
Yeah, let's not forget about not just the USA players, but some other national team players. I know that Satu Sabali had spent some time with the German national team as well. Charles is calling for it. She wants it against Allery, and she gets it against Allery with a little flex to boot.
Tina Charles just has that hook shot down, and again, she missed 3 or 4 of those in that first half. She is not gonna miss those this half.
Didn't score in the second quarter here for Washington, and she's brought it. So has the Mystics here in the third quarter. And Zealous walked with it. But that's just been an interesting substitution that Mike Tebow and his staff has made here to start the third. She kind of provided a little bit of juice for him.
Well, she did, and it started with their defense. Defense can really help ignite your offense. They did a nice job of really sagging in, being tight on the guards, but active hands. And a lot of times, I remember Tara Vanderveer used to tell us this on our USA team, since we were talking about the 96 team, deflection, something that you may not see in the, in the books. You don't get points for it, but deflection, getting your hand on the ball, can really help get your team more possessions. And Washington's been doing that here in this third quarter.
Harrison, nice move there for a couple.
I've been really impressed with Dallas and their bigs. They're doing a really nice job. They have a lot of bodies. Players, when Coach Vicki Johnson says your number's up, you come in and you give 5, 6, 7 minutes hard and you sub out. And I love that type of mentality, because that's what we used to do even at the LA Sparks, where you come out and, yeah, I could play for 10 minutes straight, but how about 5 strong minutes where you're out there getting 3 or 4 rebounds and a few points and passing the ball, and then you sub out and you give yourself and your teammates another opportunity to get out there and contribute as well.
They've had some rotation changes, some roster changes, and they've got some reinforcements. I mentioned Satu Sabali missed a little bit at the beginning of the year, so Mabry, who's got the ball right now, was a starter to begin the season here for the Wings. She kicks it out, count the bucket, and a possible 4-point play.
Alicia Gray is come to play. I mean, I tell you, when she said she got the announcement and heard that she was on the 3-on-3 Olympic team, I think her confidence level has just shot through the roof. And she's prepared. She has prepared, whether it's been playing 3-on-3, what you get from that. It's an inside, it's very physical. She's driving to the basket, working on her rebounding. And she said it also helped her to realize the importance of being in each moment when you're playing in that half-court game. How does that translate in 5-on-5? Spot up, knocking down the basket, but here's the physical part. Getting fouled and also knocking down this 3-ball.
Well, the foul is called on Kiera Leslie, who again is playing for Washington for the first time in the last 4 games. They are reviewing this play. They might be looking to see if Leslie gave Gray enough time to come down in her shooting motion.
And that would be a no.
Yeah, so this is what they're looking at. These 3 officials looking at the landing space here for Alicia Gray. Michael Price, Carlina Tobin, and Danica Mosier are your officials here today.
Yes, Michael Price, old school, day one. I spent many a days out there on the court with him officiating and giving me fouls, I'm sure. But Mike is a great official who knows exactly, as a veteran, what's going on.
You know, all reviews are initiated here by the referees. And again, this is a common foul. They could upgrade it to an F1.
Well, I don't think they should, because she really tried to get out of her way and not, you know, cause her any injury. And that's all you can do sometimes with your body and your momentum. You do the best you can. And I'm just happy that Gray was able to come down and land safely.
And so the officials coming over to tell us what they've decided.
Really? Wow. Well, there you go.
Decision?
It's been upgraded to a flagrant 1 with the potential to cause injury. And I'm a little surprised. I do recognize that she was in her space where Gray needed time to come down, but I also recognize that she tried to get out of her space before she landed, which sometimes, a lot of times, players just stand there with their hand up and really can cause major injury. But, you know, the officials are in charge, and I know the rules have changed since the days I played, so the new rules stand.
Well, there wasn't replays, right? Replay review and F1s and F2s and all that to talk about.
Definitely. We didn't have all of that.
And so we'll take one more look at this.
Well, Leslie runs out to contest the shot, but there Gray does not have enough space to come down, which could cause her a major injury, and therefore it's been upgraded to a flagrant 1.
When I've had a conversation with people in the league and officials, I think they have said that you are in control of your body. So maybe they thought in that instance that Leslie could have been in better control of her body and defending that. But the F1 gave the possession back to Dallas after the free throw by Gray. Ronnie Mitchell, again, 4 3-point makes here today, coming off 2 straight games, which has hit at least 5. And the turnover.
Well, that time, Clay's not just really forcing the ball to Tina Charles, who was not open, but just was so hopeful that she would be, that she just threw that ball away. They're lucky to get that possession back.
1 and done on that possession here for the Dallas Wings as they feed Charles, and Sabali knew it immediately, committing the personal foul. Well, it's an action-packed day here at CBS Sports. Coming up next, we head to TPC River Highlands for PGA Tour action at the Travelers Championship. And tonight at 8, it's another Superstar Saturday night with some of the best drivers in the world racing at the Camping World SRX Series. It's all coming up today on CBS. Look at the swarm defensively around Tina.
Well, Tina Charles being triple teamed, but she's still going to force up that shot. And she did the best that she could, but her teammates really have to move better without the ball to get to an open space.
Gray can't get it that time. Harrison loses it. And here is Sydney Weiss checking in for the first time in the second half. Tina Charles for 3. Nice. And the Mystics keep on coming.
Nice step back. Weiss doing a nice job recognizing Tina Charles is open. And her team, I mean, give them a lot of credit. They are trying to get her the ball, and you know where your money is and who your money player is, and Washington recognizing that right now.
And the Mystics have boosted up their 3-point shooting to about 35% here today. Mabry, the rainbow 3.
Well, that shot definitely had enough art on it when you talk about getting that ball. A beautiful shot by Mabry.
Brings the lead back up to 11. Mitchell passing it up to Weiss. For her first look, she misses everything. Shot clock not in play. Dallas can hold it for one final shot if it wants to. Mabry with the step back from the elbow. And Leslie is short. Washington had a really good start to that third quarter, and Dallas had a response at the end of the third quarter. Javante Zealous providing a little punch at the beginning. And of course, the big names come into play on this stage, the WNBA on CBS. Minutes of the afternoon, Enrique with 19 points. We had a chance to chat with her moments ago. Enrique, 16 points in the first half. What was this mentality that you had out of the gates?
Just come out with intensity. I mean, you know, they're a good team. They've been playing really well, and we just wanted to try to get the first punch, so that's what we did.
Enrique, we talked yesterday about you being better at assists, and you doing a great job of getting your teammates involved. What do you guys have to do to hold on to this lead?
We just got to keep playing together like we did in the first half. You know, they went on their run in the third quarter. That was bound to happen. Like I said, they're a good team, but we got to, you know, finish it out at home, finish the fourth quarter, and just keep moving the ball.
What needs to happen for you to close it out?
We got to try to stop Tina, and Leilani's getting hot, so we got to cover the three. You know, they might even be like 50% or more from the three right now, so we just got to get a hand up and make them drive it, but just trying to contain, you know, the shooters and Tina.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Washington looked good at the beginning of the third quarter, a 22-11 start to cut the lead to 5 at one point. Then Dallas ended the period on a 9-3 run. How about that defensive stop?
Really nice defensive play for the Dallas Wings. Everyone recognizing that the ball is trying to make it to Tina Charles on the inside.
Well, Enrique Gumbawale told us in that interview we got to try to stop Tina Charles. That's, I guess, one way. Sabali takes it on the right side.
Sabali looking good against the veteran, taking it to the basket strong for 2.
Second overall draft pick last year in 2020. Played for Oregon in 3 years. Sabrina Ionescu's teammate, of course. How about the rebound putback? Megan Gustafson has put in some quality minutes today.
Megan Gustafson, also a recipient of the Lisa Leslie Award that she won as a senior in college out of Iowa. Having a nice opportunity here to suit up for the Washington Mystics and contribute big.
Here's Atkins on the push and the transition, and again another hot start to begin this quarter for the Washington Mystics.
Well, here's one of these things: when you have a huddle and you know your team is down, you just try to close that gap, make sure that defensively you guys are strong and that the other team is one and done, and you come up with that rebound, and then offensively you execute, and Washington is doing exactly that to close this lead.
Mabry creating her own space as Atkins went down, and no love there on that exchange. The three-pointer falls.
Well, Atkins tried to sell a foul that didn't happen, and I'm glad the officials did not call it, and Mabry just cool, calm, and collected as she knocks down buckets.
Marina Mabry is just stone cold, and you talk about one of the tougher players with swag, and you see her Notre Dame teammate Agumbawale, as she ran past her, gave her a smile, a little tap on the back.
Yes, and Agumbawale talked about them being roommates even from college and just having that chemistry, and that's something that you need. That trust factor is there between Enrique Agumbawale and Mabry, and you can tell it's contagious. As they continue to have success, more of their teammates will recognize that there are two teammates that are very reliable.
Charles being defended by Harrison, and she backs her way down beautifully and goes high off the glass for 2.
Oh, the bank is open today. Go ahead, Tina Charles. Giving them all you got. Love it.
The WNBA's leading scorer now with 21 points here this afternoon, and Harrison from about 15.
Nice jumper for Harrison. I feel like the post. Tina Charles may be the veteran, but she's outnumbered. They just keep rotating them in, one body after another, really putting a lot of pressure on Tina Charles, but they cannot stop her on the offensive end. No matter how many bodies come in, Tina Charles doing work. Oh, yes. Bank time. I love it.
I loved talking to her yesterday. You know, we mentioned at halftime what a big fan of yours that she is. She said, I remember some of the Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson famous duels you guys used to have.
Oh, always. It's always a battle. And she also named Lauren Jackson as one of her favorite players that I battled against. That's what it's about. The WNBA is about the competition. And Vicki Johnson talked about that as Washington takes another timeout. It is about the competition, and that's what most of these women love. When you look at Enrique, she's like non-stop. She's attacking. She talks about her love for the competition. And when you get out here, hey, ball is ball. That's what we do.
Got an open look. Missed the shot from three-point range straight away. Byers gets it up to Leslie. What's she gonna do? She dunked it! For the first time in WNBA history, someone has dunked in a game. It's Lisa Leslie with the dunk. And the game continues.
I love so many things about that. You guys are like half celebrating, but half trying to play defense all at the same time.
What can you say? It was the first, but it was not the last. Shout out to Candace Parker, Brittany Griner, Sylvia Fowles, and Awa Queer, right? She's a young 19-year-old who dunked today in the warm-up. So I'm happy that I was the first, but I'm glad that I will not be the last. Look at this dunk right here. 19-year-old.
Queer.
Queer, yes, putting it down. That's what it was all about. I started it off, and these young ladies will continue to finish it and be better and better every single year.
Were you thinking dunk the whole time?
I was thinking I'm mad because we were losing. That's usually what was my driving force. But once after I dunked in, I realized, like, oh, yeah, and it is the first. Pretty cool.
It was something. And one of those historical pieces and some of the moments, the great moments of the 25th anniversary we keep celebrating on the WNBA. That one happening July 30th of 2002. And we got a foul on the box out on the floor there. And they got Agumbawale with the personal. Taking a look again at the upcoming national TV schedule. Again, the biggie between number 1 and number 2, at least in the standings, the Seattle Storm and Las Vegas Aces. And then all the way down ESPN2 on Tuesday, a CBS Sports Network doubleheader. The Sky, the Wings back in action, and the Lynx and the Mercury. Here's Ariel Atkins off the mark.
Ariel Atkins has not been able to be as consistent as she usually is, and I'm sure it's due to her back injury. You know, that can stiffen up on you. She's kind of bent over a little, but she's out here for her team, giving it her best effort.
Well, this is a Mystics team that's been playing with about 7 or 8 players because of injuries. And if you're just joining us again, Ariel Atkins, as Mike Tebow had told us, has a lingering back issue, and she really started to feel it a couple hours after their last game against Los Angeles. And then, of course, she had to hop on a plane, which never helps, from LA to Dallas. She did get x-rays taken on Friday, and nothing too alarming that she's able to play here today. Zealous trying to feed Charles. She just kept that in the air to keep the play an opportunity for herself.
Well, Washington doing everything they can to get the ball to Tina Charles, but the problem is the angles and the defense. They're not doing the best job possible of getting this ball to her. They're throwing it, and of course, Dallas, very long players are able to get hands on the ball, but Tina Charles, give her a lot of credit. She's staying with each pass and trying to come up with that ball.
21 points, make it 22 for Tina Charles. She's leading the league in terms of scoring average. Now, coming into today, 25.3 was her scoring average. If she can keep that up, it would be the all-time best for a single season.
Which is really awesome, especially for a big to have that opportunity to average 25.3 points, 0.5. If she can just hold on to those little points, it will be a phenomenal record to have in the 25th season as we celebrate the anniversary of the WNBA.
As it stands right now, Diana Taurasi has the most averages, the 1 and 2 right now. Arike Agumbawale, she could be a player that could challenge that at some point in her career as well. Atkins will pull up from the baseline. And a mistimed jump there from Zealous. And here's Agumbawale with that speed, off and running. Cray to Harrison for 2. A nice transition from the wings.
Nice transition from the wings. An unselfish play. Coach Vicky has to be really excited about how well her team's moving the ball and sharing the ball, which is allowing them to get easy baskets at the rim.
Alicia Gray whistled for the personal foul. And that sends Atkins to the free throw line. Ariel Atkins still not playing 100%, but putting in 27 minutes here today. Remember, tomorrow is the last day to vote in your WNBA All-Star Game for the 2021 AT&T WNBA All-Star Game. Head over to WNBA.com WNBA.com/vote or download the new WNBA app to make your selections before the voting period ends tomorrow night. And by the way, tomorrow, your vote counts twice.
Which will be great because that All-Star team will face Team USA. And I remember playing against the WNBA All-Stars. And, you know, you always have players who are on the All-Star team who feel like they should be on the USA team. So that game will be very competitive and a great game to watch.
A turnover there for the Wings. By the way, that missed free throw was the first missed free throw of the game by either team. Yeah, and going back to the All-Star game, just a unique voting situation. Team WNBA, if you will. You can vote from fans, players as well, and then it'll be the WNBA coaches that will take that crop and bring it down to 12 as Zealous gets the 2.
Nice give and go. Tina Charles, their double team. Zealous does a great job of cutting to the basket and able to finish inside.
Good second half for Zealous. You saw her tally there, 6 points that she's picked up. Harrison with a great spin move, but couldn't get the finish.
Oh, wow. That was a nice spin move. Just, she left it short.
Charles is going for it.
Tina Charles is putting her team on her back, and that's what you want to see from the best player and possibly the WNBA's MVP.
She's certainly, the numbers are hard to argue against that for sure. And a foul to stop the transition called on Mitchell.
And Tina Charles is doing a nice job getting to her average. This is her 25th point here from 3. And of course, she's saying, come on, rookie, come on out here. Izzy's not quite a rookie, but she's a young player, so it doesn't matter. Tina Charles is on fire.
It's been an evenly played fourth quarter here so far, but it's a 10-point advantage here for Dallas. And we want to remind you, coming up next, we'll get you right out to TPC River Highlands for PGA Tour action. It's the 3rd round of the Travelers Championship. You're wondering what the leaderboard looks like. How about Bubba and Jason Day deadlocked at 10 under? We'll get you out there once this one is complete. Tina Charles, she knows that it's winning time right now, Lisa Leslie.
Tina Charles giving them work. Started out on the inside, took the rookie on. Collier, she said, oh, let me just show you. Out of respect, this is how we do it. But then again, she's improved her outside 3, shooting 38% for the season. She was 2 for 2 from the 3. So her outside game, inside game, Tina Charles doing it all. And her teammates doing a great job of finding her, whether it's the pick and pop or her roll into the basket. They understand if you want to win this game, get the ball into Tina Charles' hands.
That scoring title could come down to 1/10 of a point for sure, trying to beat Diana Taurasi's record, that's for sure. But she's sitting, as you mentioned, Lisa, right at her average with the 25 points here today. Okumbawale for 3. And we got a tie-up and a jump ball here coming up.
And when you look down the stretch here, every single possession, very important. Washington still trying to close the gap, so they need to make sure that they come up with these rebounds. And the Wings, you can't get too loose with it. You got to take control of it and continue to rebound, especially offensively.
It'll be Thornton jumping up against Ariel Atkins. Thornton winning that, but going right into the hands of Plaisance. Atkins posting up Gray. Sabali came over for the block. And Plaisance left all alone. She can't get the 3.
Plaisance, we watched her warm up so much, and she's just been off the mark today, but that's usually a shot that she can knock down from 3.
Just 7 points here today. I say just 7 because the last 6 games she scored in double figures. That's the longest streak of her career. Here's 3 to shoot. Sabali will pull and fire. And we got some confusion here. It might have been an inadvertent whistle with the officials.
Well, the shot was taken and it hit the rim, but then the clock went off and the players stopped. I believe Dallas retrieved that. The ball hits the rim, and so the shot clock should not have expired.
Yeah, it certainly should have reset.
I'm not sure how they came up with it being Washington's possession, because it hit the rim and Dallas retrieved the ball.
I guess they said the ball went out of bounds was the final call on all of that. So Ty Harris maybe tried to save it.
Well, you know, we like to stay on the playground. The ball don't lie.
And there's no out of bounds on the playground.
And there you go. And Enrique Gumbawale comes up with that steal, and it's back to Dallas.
With that in and out dribble. You know, she's got just the quick moves, the crossover, the in and out that she's developed. She talked to us about playing with a lot of guys when she was young, including her brother, Daria Gumbawale, star football player.
Absolutely. She gave her brother a lot of credit, from playing outside in the backyard to calling her and sending her videos, as well as her trainer, you know, things that she can work on and try. And she really appreciated all the hard work her brother, she has more than one brother, but that her brothers did with her in playing basketball.
It's a right big time. I bet you trainer, family, and Dallas Wings fans appreciated that shot. Double team coming for Charles. The kick out for Ariel Atkins. 3 of 12 shooting for Atkins here today.
Yeah, well, you know, again, to have a back injury, anybody who's had any type of injury like that, you understand that your back's involved in every single movement, especially shooting. So she's probably going to be short on a lot of those shots. But for her team to be so undermanned, they only have 3 players on the bench that can sub in right now. She had to get out here and play, and I know they appreciate her sucking it up and doing that.
And we got a chance to talk to her in game about the family members and friends in attendance. Again, she played high school basketball 4 years on varsity at Duncanville High School, just 15 miles away from here. And Mike Tebow is going to allow her to actually stay here in this area. They don't play until Tuesday, and she will rejoin the team, I believe, Sunday or Monday. Here's Gumbawale being defended by Atkins. And the kick out to Mabry. The bench has been so clutch for Dallas. And a timeout called, a quick 20-second timeout here for Washington. Well, Mike Tebow and the Mystics have been on the road. This is 3 straight for them in the last 5 days. They're trying to squeeze in a lot of games here before the All-Star break. Now, the game is going to happen on July 14th. We've talked about it's the WNBA All-Stars against the U.S. Olympic team. But because of the Olympics this year, there's just an interesting format. You've got that Olympic break. That's about a month or so, and that could help and hurt several teams here in the league.
Well, it'll definitely help this Washington Mystics team when you have so many players with injuries. That gives you time to heal and get treatment and to have practice and get back out on the floor. But also it can hurt teams who are rolling right now, and then your chemistry is suddenly broken up with the break, and you can come back and sort of lose a little bit. So I've been in both situations, breaking and leaving my team to participate in 2 Olympics and then coming back and playing in the WNBA. But I really thought it helped us. So
Charles with the turnaround. Still some time here for Washington, and actually that break could help the Mystics maybe more than any other team here in the league. We mentioned Elena Deladon. She's got a chance to come back after the Olympics. Mike Tebow also telling us that Emma Miesemann is also considering coming back after the Olympics. She's going to play with Belgium on the national team.
Yes, and you know, if the Mystics can get Miesemann back, who was the MVP of the championship game, this team will really be able to make some noise going into the postseason. So those 14, the break for the Washington Mystics will probably be more helpful than any other team in the whole league.
Well, the foul stops the clock with under a minute to play. These Mystics You got to give it to them. They're not using injuries as an excuse here for their season. A 500 record coming into today. June has been better than May. But how about a team that still sits 5th in the standings coming into today? Without their all-everything, Elena Deladon has yet to play out with the back injury. And we mentioned that Emma Mieseman, according to Mike Thibault, is considering coming back to return to this team this year. Atkins commits the foul.
Well, here's the matchup we had hoped to see happening with Atkins against Ogunbowale. We know Atkins, as we've said many times, not 100%. But when you just look at the scoreboard in general and just the stats, Ogunbowale has 26 points. And Tina Charles has 27 points and 10 rebounds. Like, the Stars did not disappoint this afternoon at all. They have balled out.
Enrique, 16 points. You knew it was going to be possibly a 30-point game the way she came out, especially in the first half. Washington hasn't been closer than the 5 points since Dallas led 8-5 in this game. They showed more fight, more execution, more efficiency for sure here in the second half. And the turnover here, Sabale. Somehow keeping that alive. I'm not sure how, but she did.
Well, at least she decided to get on her knees to grab the ball. I think sometimes when you're about 6'4" and over, it's a decision if you're really going to get down on the ground and get that ball or not. And she thought about it. But for a minute, she looked and she tried everything she could to pick it up. And then she had to laugh at herself because she realized, I guess I got to get down here and get this ball.
Enrique Ogunbowale, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And Enrique telling us, outside of her personal goals, she wants to get this team to the playoffs this year. You know, they just missed out of the playoffs last season, a tiebreaker actually that favored Washington. And she feels like the one-on-one capability that they have, the talented scorers, the youth that has learned and is learning under the Vicki Johnson era right now, that they are and could be a playoff team this year.
Well, absolutely. When you look at Vicki Johnson and what she's been able to do already, it's about changing the culture. And their record 7-8, in May 1-4. But here in June, they are battling 6-4, currently in 8th standing. And you talk about one of the youngest teams in the league. But Vicki Johnson said, listen, their veterans are their coaches. She has former WNBA players that have played and done well in this league. She herself, a 2-time All-Star. So she has the information and the goods, and she has the respect of her team. They're listening, they're learning, and they're learning to trust. And that's when it comes down to, when you know you're going to make that next step, is when you're able to have that trust in one another. And she's building that here in Dallas.
Vicki Johnson giving major props to Dan Hughes, one of her coaching mentors. Also had an opportunity to play for Dan Hughes as well. She was a head coach for just a brief stint in San Antonio, and she said, I didn't know really that I wanted to be a head coach then. A wedgie shot there for Atkins.
Yes, it's important for when you talk about Coach Johnson just having that opportunity. She prayed about it. She ended up in San Antonio, then ended up on this coaching staff. And now we look at her today, and sometimes you don't even know it's a blessing in disguise for her to have that opportunity.
Look at this.
That's one of those things you just hate to see happen. One, it's low-key a little embarrassing when it hits there, because then it was like, what were you actually aiming for? Was it the rim or the backboard? And then sometimes it's hard to get out, but shout out to Isabel, who just hopped up there with all those hops and knocked that ball out so quickly.
Again, a reminder coming up next, you see it, the Travelers Championship. Once this one is complete, we still have 24 seconds left to play. Lisa Leslie, thanks for being a good sport as we propped you up as obviously one of the greats here as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the WNBA.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun to come back. I feel like the mother watching all these babies out here just continue to elevate this game. It's very exciting. They are a lot more friendly than we were. I can tell you that, though. These players, which is great that they've evolved to a place where they're so respectful of one another. We were not hugging back when we played, and Vicki Johnson will be the first to tell you that.
she told us that exactly that yesterday, a little old school mentality. But you said it, Lisa, the Stars came out Tina Charles with another double-double, 4 straight double-doubles, 5 in the last 6 games. Arike Gubawale putting up a 30-point game, and the Wings now improved to 500, working their way up, and the Mystics again falling to 7-8 on the season as they will travel back to the DC area. We will wrap things up after this. 85-74 is your final. Dallas over Washington. Coming up next, we'll get you right out to TPC River Highlands for PGA Tour action. It's the 3rd round of the Travelers Championship, but a victory here for Dallas, and the second leading scorer on the Dallas side, Alicia Gray, joining us now. And Alicia, you put up the 14 points all off the bench, and I know that's kind of been your role. How have you shifted to be so effective coming off the bench this year for Dallas?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, with me coming off the bench, I get to see the game and kind of settle in rather than starting, because coming off the bench, the game already has a flow, so you can come in and jack up like 3-pointers and stuff right away, because you know, like the beginning game, you got to get to the basket, not force up shots, but coming in the flow of the game, you can take more advantage of your jump shots.
Alicia, congratulations again on making the USA 3-on-3 basketball team. But I have to ask you, when I initially started to look into your game, I saw your 3-point percentage was down, but tonight, 3 out of 5. Tell me about how important it is for you to shoot well from the 3-point line.
I mean, it's very important. I mean, my teammates are finding me, and they're wide open shots. I mean, I just feel like I finally got my touch back. I've been in the gym before practice and even after practice, putting up extra 3-point shots, just jump shots overall, because I wasn't happy with my percentages at all.
Well, Lisa was actually, she was kind of sugarcoating. I got to tell you, she was looking at the pregame, and she said 19% for free. What's going on? I mean, do you take that personally?
Oh, yeah. That's not me. That's actually horrible shooting for me. That's the lowest I ever shot in my life. So, I mean, with me, it was all about getting back in the gym, coming before practicing, getting on the gun and putting up shots. And I finally feel like I finally got my touch back tonight.
Well, thank you for joining us, Alicia. We really appreciate it. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congrats.
A quick thought from you before we sign off.
I thought it was a phenomenal game. When we came and we talked about Tina Charles and her leading the WNBA in scoring, and Arike Agumbuwale being a phenomenal young player, they did not disappoint this afternoon. Both did an amazing job of shooting from 30 points, 27 points. What else can we ask for, Lisa? It was awesome.
It was fun. Lisa Leslie, thank you. Thank you to our producer, Bob Steinfeld, our director, Eric Deli. I'm Lisa Byington. Coming up next on CBS, the PGA Tour Travelers Championship from Connecticut. That'll do it. Dallas wins this one, 85-74.